So I chose the games industry for my career because as a kid, I was a gamer and I was obsessed with how things work. And every time I played a game, I was like, when I grow up, all I want to do is just make a video game.
My mum was like, okay, you can have one game, but any other games you want, you're gonna have to write yourself. So I said, okay, that's the condition I get this computer, okay, well, I'll do that. And then I just spent far too many hours in my bedroom writing Pac-Man clones and Space Invaders clones and stuff like that.
I played a lot of games, so I was like, how do I actually make this? And once I learned how to make one game, I got hooked.
Even though, say, like the end product is something it's a creative medium, it sits on top of a foundation of code, which is the game engine that powers everything. So once I eventually joined the game industry, that's where I really found that industry that combines science and art.
I've always loved video games growing up. It was always kind of a passion, but more of a hobby, of just a fun thing to do with my spare time. And then growing up through school, I developed an interest in engineering and science, and I knew that's where my career was going to be.
It's an industry that's ever-changing because it has a foundation in tech, and tech is always progressing forward.
It's not just about developing cool tech, but it's about developing a new innovative technology that really enriches the player's experience in some way.
It feels like you're always in a position where you're pioneering something new.
I think this industry forces you to continually evolve your skill set and get better at what you do.
The other thing, I guess, is when you tell people that what you're doing, that you're in the game industry, they get so excited and their eyes lit up, you know.
Games have a tremendous potential because you're creating this artificial construct where the player lives and makes choices. So you can challenge how the player sort of views and understands the world.
The thing that I want to see pushed more is having AI and characters that are believable.
I think that we can make our games deeper and we can give more interesting experiences to players if our characters are more real, if they feel more real, if you can interact with them in more meaningful ways.
There's going to be a lot less tolerance in the future from people who play games for unmoving, uninteractive sets, or things where you have to know that only this chair can be interacted with and not that chair. I think people expect game worlds that look like real life to behave like real life.
I hope that games are a lot more open world. And right now we have a lot of that, but it's not as accessible.
I'd really like to see the player base grow in terms of diversity, in particular for getting more girls playing video games, because I think that's key to getting more girls in game development.
I would love to see games being widely accepted as a true art form. I think books and TVs and movies and even comic books, like all those kinds of things are very, very mainstream, and games are getting there. And once it's sort of like everyone is a gamer, everyone plays, that's also when games can get to a point of a true art form.
You're dealing with really technically challenging problems, but you're dealing with them for something that you love doing, and the end result is something you enjoy playing, and you're doing it with a bunch of people that like the same sort of stuff as you. And it's a really, really fun experience.
The joy of making games, of building something and then seeing that thing appear on the screen, you're not going to get that from working in databases or even working on speech recognition, right? It's that bringing something to life. You can really only get that through games.